Okay, so the purpose of this flip chart is to introduce linear modeling and to show the students how we can build an algebraic equation given a word description of a problem. So I've set up this page of the flip chart just using mainly text and some lines, and there will be a video on how it was actually made as well. So if you're interested in seeing some of the features that I used to build this flip chart, please be sure to check out that video. The purpose of this video is just to show you how to use this flip chart to demonstrate linear modeling and equation building. So I would start, at this point in my class, the students have not seen anything on building equations, and I would start by putting this slide up on the active board and have the students just read the problem at the top. So John works at a computer store. He earns $70 per day plus an additional $12 for every computer he sells. And I'd ask them to, just using the available symbols at the bottom of the page here, to construct an expression for his daily earnings. Get the students to go up to the active board and do that themselves. So for example, if John does not sell any computers at all, he still makes $70. So the students would drag up the 70 into that row. If he makes one computer, John would still make the $70. But of course he'd also make an additional $12, so that you can use the plus symbol and the $12 as well, and so on. So they can do a similar thing for 3 computers, the initial $70, but this time we're going to add $12, and they pick up on the pattern very quickly. Now you'll notice the use of colors, the difference in colors between the initial amount and the amount of $12 that's being added for each computer sold. That, once again, is just to make very visual what's about to happen with constructing the equation. At this point, many of the students are looking ahead and seeing that we're going to have to build one of these expressions for 11 computers and for 19 computers, and already thinking there's got to be a better way to do this, an easier way. I usually don't have them complete the row for 11 computers or 19 computers. Instead, by the time we finish 7, I go to the next page in the flip chart, which asks them, is there another symbol that would have been helpful? And right away they notice that yes, it is a multiplication symbol. So there it is. Now you can see at the bottom of the 3rd page we now have the multiplication symbol available. So once again, I ask the students to go through this exercise up at the active board. This time though, they have that symbol available. So for example, this time when they get to 7 computers sold, instead of adding 12 7 times, we can say we have $70 plus $12 times the number of computers sold. And I've set this up so that you can drag the 7 computers sold over into the right hand column. And there's the expression. And they notice immediately the value of the multiplication sign when it comes to writing an expression for 19 computers sold or for any significantly large number. And once again, this usually does come together very quickly, which works well for the next page of the flip chart. So we can drag this 19 over and there's an expression. So based on this, once it's all complete, the students pick up on the pattern, and the next page of the flip chart asks them to rearrange these rectangles here to make a word equation for John's daily earnings. So some statement that describes what's happening in this situation. So again, I get the students to do this. One student up at the active board, the rest of the class guiding them along. You'll also notice that these tiles have been set up so that they cannot overlap each other. That's using something called blocking, and that will be explained in the making of the linear modeling flip chart video. So the students would rearrange this, hopefully coming up with John's daily earnings equals 70 plus 12. Oops, there we go. Times the number of computers sold. So we can see we have a word equation, and the final step then, of course, is to take our word equation and turn it into an algebraic equation, and that is what occurs on the next page of the flip chart. So in this case, we've represented John's daily earnings with the letter E and the number of computers sold with the letter N. Again, these rectangles are set to block each other. and the students can come up and rearrange this to build the equation. So the beauty of using Active Inspire to do this is that we can do things that are not as easy to do or not as visual on an overhead projector or a chalkboard. In particular, dragging multiple copies of an object, as we saw in the first few slides, and being able to move around symbols and numbers, such as on this slide, and having them block each other, and so on. So we have our completed equation, $70 plus 12 times the number of computers sold. There is one more page in the flip chart, which just asks the students to use their equation to find out John's earnings for selling 20 computers. And at this point, I would just switch over to the pen tool and actually complete the example with the pen. There it is.